Alright everybody, the Witch Queen raid Vow Disciple literally drops in, 10 hours, so, day one raid, always very, very hype and stuff like that. I'm just going to be going over a few of my setups and what I'm going to be using. So, right here, this is going to be, like, my solar, obviously, well irradiated, stuff like that. I do want to, like, open things up with the Voidwalker, don't get me wrong. However, I know at some point I'm going to go on the well, and we will have to run this setup. However, since the glaive is gonna not be able to suppress enemies inside of there, I really don't want to use the glaive anymore inside of the day one raid. So I do have an ignition code here with blinding grenades. Now this thing is not as good as the true teller that I have here. However, for this setup, since we're on solar, I do want to have some form of like bloom, and what we can do is we can use things like Reaping Wellmaker that we have on our chest piece over here on our Phoenix Pro. Oh, anyways, as I was saying, with things like Reaping Wellmaker, we'll easily be able to create void elemental wells, and that will go ahead and give us and things with like volatile flow that will allow us to have our volatile rounds for our funnel web here. Now this is going to be the PvE funnel web that I have. I will probably, like, the main two primary guns that I'll be swapping back and forth between will be the funnel web and the crate. I made a video on the crate. This thing is so good. We got an overflow of Vorpal crate, and then we have a subsistence rangefinder funnel web. Funnel web with subsistence is very, very strong because of the Vice Stinger inherit trait, which is very, very solid. Along with other weapons that I'll be swapping off between obviously the grenade launchers and the crate and the funnel web. I'll have like I have a thresh trait bringer on standby as well. I do kind of want to play around with Osteo and a Voidwalker setup at first. It's just see for like AoE and crowd control, dude, a Voidwalker with an Osteo can easily do that with great ease, as part of the reason why we have this bad boy on standby. I do also have a like a 4th times charm box breathing sniper if for whatever reason, dude, if an encounter calls for a sniper for some reason, this sniper rifle happens to be a great form of DPS, or if I'm using something like a parasite and then I can dump the parasite and then go into the Ikelos, then we'll see. But I'm just gonna have it just on standby just in case. Don't know what's ahead of us, man. So you just gotta be prepared for anything, right? And then for the heavies, I obviously have a G-Horn. I do have Parasite. I have a Polymyra in case I want to run, like Osteo or just any other exotic gun. Polymyra would be good because other people in my raid team are definitely going to have G-Horn. And then, we have like auto-loading holster and explosive light, will just be very, very useful inside of there to do some extra damage as well. And then I do have the recurrent impact, just because it has things like Headstone and Lantern can be very, very good. Lantern allows you to be a bit more tanky, and in something like a day one raid with contest mode, that could actually be very, very useful, combined with other defensive mods that you may have. And then Headstone is just very, very good for crowd control as well. Really like Headstone a lot. And then we do have obviously our Falling Guillotine. Just if a sword turns out to be really good for an encounter, I have a sword at the ready. You know what I'm saying? That's just really what it is. Just want to have like multiple weapons on standby just in case they're good. Like AMD last year, dude, nobody was expecting, things like at the time, like a 4th Horseman to be a big mode of DPS, but, hey, sometimes you just gotta be prepared. And then for the armor, right, so for my solar setup, this is like the armor that we have. This is our helmet. Basically, my idea here is I'm trying to get as much, like, defensive mods or, like, ways to just, like, keep myself alive as possible with contest mode on. That is why we do have Striking Light, just because of its secondary perk, gain damage resistance against combatants while sprinting. You're always literally sprinting in Destiny, so I think Striking Light can be really, really good, especially on the Voidwalker. Will be also really, really solid as well. And then the mod that I'm using is Hands-On. Really, you could probably use Arc Siphon, but I'm not using any arc weapons, so I figured this is like the only real way I can get the secondary mod for this to activate, and I figured, what, that's fine with me. Have a little bit of a recovery mod there as well. And then for our gauntlets, really what we have things like Reactive Pulse. This will give us an overshield whenever we perform a finisher. This will be very useful just to give us, another shield, another form, just help keep us stay alive. This is really the whole reason why I'm running Reactive Pulse. That's the main thing. For its secondary mod, dude. The secondary perks on some of these are just very, very strong. I have Fastball. If I switch to the crate, I will easily put on Auto Rifle Reloader. Momentum Transfer will just, be a little bit nice as well. Nothing too crazy I could put on the gauntlets. I mean, I could probably put on a Rocket Launcher Dexterity if I want to. However, for Void, I definitely want to have Momentum Transfer, but for solar, probably have it like something like a dexterity mod could be a little bit useful, just like for deeps. But once again, dude, we'll see. I will, this is always subject to be adaptable. And then we have a little recovery mod here as well. Here's our chest piece, dude. Gonna be running thermal shock plating twice. If there's an encounter with, you know, a lot more void damage, I would easily run double void resist. This is the reason why having I believe having a void armor piece is just very, very crucial, because you are able to run all the defensive mods on one chest piece without having to change over your energy this season, just because of thermo shock plating. Very, very, very solid. Obviously, Reaping Wellmakers, how we're going to get volatile rounds for our funnel web, give us some good AoE mob clearing at all times with those volatile rounds. Very, very solid. You gotta love to see it. And then obviously our boots, with rocket launcher scav being so cheap this season, you know, we have you know, a lot of options. We can run absolution. Obviously we got to run volatile flow, and then we do have a little bit of a discipline mod, but I'm overriding that instantly for recovery mod, because gotta have 100 recovery. Yeah, you already know. And then our oath bond here, basically we have a well of tenacity. Once again, picking up void elemental wells will give us some damage reduction, and Lucient Finisher. Lucient Finisher for those pesky hive champions. We can get some nice heavy ammo from that as well. Powerful mod, because heavy ammo is always going to be needed, always going to be useful. And yeah, that's basically my idea for my my solar style. Obviously, we are going to run well. Very, very solid to keep yourself, you know, up and alive, staying strong. You know, that's very, very important. And this is basically the Voidwalker setup that I was kind of going for initially, that I'm talking about with the necrotic grips. I mean, my idea here is that, you know, osteo and necrotic grip will make for a great tandem to completely deal with any trash tier mobs. Osteo really, really good. However, dude, necrotic grip in the raid might not be the biggest move. Something like Controverse Hold might be a little bit of a better idea to go with. But, you know, you can make some Asher Exotic, or, you know, Nezrak Sin will also be real strong. Or, hey, man, maybe good old tried and true Lunas could be useful as well. You can never hate on the Lunas, man. You can never hate on the Lunas. We have relatively similar mods. Our boots are a little bit different, because we do have things like, we will have Swift Charges, because we are using Osteo and stuff like that. Relatively, you know, similar mods across the board. Still have Lucient Finisher and stuff like that. This setup does not have volatile rounds, just because we already have access to Bloom. And, you know, our only source of void is the Truth Teller here. So that's kind of why we don't have volatile on here. But we do have, you know, ways to get charged with light and chromatic, high energy fire to do some extra damage with, like, things like Polymyra, stuff like that, you know, with explosive light. Figure it to be pretty good. You know, you can apply a lot of debuffs. You have things like, you know, your Void Buddy, aka Charlie, able to put in some nice stuff. You know, you could also, you know, maybe you want to run something like Sicilian Filaments. We have that on standby as well. Other than that, though, guys, that is going to wrap up the video. Cannot wait for this raid to come out. It'll be so much fun. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. My name's Kree. See you on the next one. Peace out.